Hi, this is Lee Rosen. Today we are going to do a website review. We're going to take a look at a random website I discovered. I actually read an article that referenced this website. Heath Newton is a firm in San Francisco, and they're at heathnewton.com. And so I took a look at their website and thought that it might be a good one to talk about. To give you some sense of things that might be important to you in building a website. We're going to start off by just looking at the homepage here at heathnewton.com. I really like the look of the page. I think it gives a nice, clean first visual impression. Just the look of it feels good to me. It's easy to read. I like the simplicity of it, the simple colors of it. It's neat, it's organized. I will say that looking at it, it's obvious to me that it is about the law firm and not about the problem that the client may be having. So I think this is a site that might work well if somebody had been referred to that law firm. I'm not sure that this is a site that would build trust if you hadn't been specifically referred to the law firm. So let's do a little bit of digging around. First of all, let's look for the phone number. It's here. Now, if you'll see it down here at the bottom, and I will say that it's a little small for my taste. I'm 50 years old, and I would say that that is potentially the smallest thing on the page. All the numbers are really tiny, and if I wanted to call these people, and I'm guessing that if I visited this site, that would be sort of the reason for the site's existence. Somebody had told me about it, I had gone in, I had typed in heathnewton.com, I'm at the site, I do a quick review, and then I probably want to make the call. And if I'm over 40 and having a little degradation of my vision, that phone number is going to be a little tricky for me to make out. So if it were me, I'd want to make it a little bigger right off the bat. There's the name of the firm featured up here at the top. There's no tagline. There's no description of the practice area that jumps out at me. When I do a quick glance at the site, all that really jumps out at me is Heath Newton, counselors at law. Typically, we glance across that first line from left to right. We kind of look at that second line or that first paragraph a little bit left to right, and we look down the left side. We make sort of an F. If you use the letter F, capital F, we do two across and one down the left side. And this does not have a lot of information in any of those scans that the viewer is typically going to do. All we're going to walk away with is the sense of the name Heath Newton, and I'm not sure that that's terrific. I'd rather know exactly what they do as a quick glance. Now, before we go too far, we're going to call up the source code for the page. In Chrome, I'm doing that. Each browser is a little bit different. And we're going to see what some of the tags look like on the page. The title tag, which is the most important tag on the page, is really good. San Francisco divorce lawyer and family law attorney. There's no question in my mind that a lot of people will search on San Francisco divorce lawyer, and they've used that title tag. They've also got their firm name in here. That's fine. They don't have the state. Might be nice to include the state, but they don't want to go more than 70 characters if they can avoid it. And I think that they're probably approaching that with what they have. The thing that perplexes me a little bit about this is that they're obviously optimizing for searches on San Francisco divorce lawyer, but when you look at the site, it's really about Heath Newton, not about getting a divorce in San Francisco. And so that's a bit troubling. It has in here some keywords spread out. I don't know that they make a lot of difference, but they don't hurt. The description here of the firm, Heath Newton serves clients in the areas of family law and estate planning, including divorce, blah, 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 blah. That's what's going to show up in some search engines as the description of the site. And I think it's fine. I'm not jumping up and down about it, but I don't have a big problem with it. But in terms of the basic things here, the title and the meta description, they're adequate. I don't have any issues with them. I'm also going to do a real quick thing here where we look at the speed of the site. The faster a site loads, the better it will do in the search engines. And when we look at, I'm going to go over here to Pingdom, which is tools.pingdom.com. I've already run the test, and the site loads in about 3.2 seconds, which is a really good site load time. I will tell you, when you compare it to my site, my law firm site, this is a much faster load time. And I think it's largely because this page doesn't have much on it. I mean, you're looking at it top to bottom right now. There's not a lot there. In fact, I would argue that that's probably a slightly slow load time, given how little information and how text heavy, and there's not much graphics here. So it's actually probably a little slow, but it's a great time. I'm not complaining about it. I'm going to do a quick check here just to make sure this is all indexable text. It looks like it is. And when we glance at the text, one thing that's a problem with it is that you can't tell easily from looking at this what they do and what keywords they're emphasizing. If you look at this closely, you'll see it's a San Francisco firm focused on families. They don't use the word divorce. They don't use the term family law. That will hurt them with the search engines. And then they've got copy here. We establish a strong attorney-client relationship based on trust, confidence, and excellence, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you that that copy is so bland and so boring. I could change the name Heath Newton to John Doe Law Firm, and the copy would work for anybody. If you're going to do this law firm heavy kind of copy where you're talking about the firm, not about the client's problem, and we could spend an hour debating what you ought to be talking about, but if you're going to talk about the firm, say something special about the firm. There is nothing in this paragraph that couldn't be said about any law firm. You know, we're all terrific and we do an excellent job based on trust, competence, and excellence. I mean, I think that's a really classic example of awful copy to be on the homepage. It's just totally wasted. Also over here on the right, we've got a testimonial. The testimonial refers to Eric, who is one of the attorneys in the firm, not to the firm generally, and that is a little distracting to me given that this page is all about the firm. And then the signature here is Don L., Telecom CEO. And are you telling me that there's not one client in the world that is willing to let you use their name and their real company, that there's not somebody out there that trusts you? What I take away from this is not a good thing. The testimonial does not help me to make a decision to hire this firm. In fact, it doesn't feel right to me. It should say Don Smith, CEO of whatever company it is, Verizon or whatever the heck it is. So that kind of bothers me. I'm being hypercritical about it because I want you to think about these issues, but I'm not jumping up and down about that. Now, the site, does it have good navigation? Yeah, it's such a simple site, it would be hard to have bad navigation. It's got this button here for practice areas, attorneys, about, the blog, and contact. And then it repeats it down here. So if you were looking for anything on this site, I think you'd find it pretty easily. Let's kind of look at the pages in backwards order. We'll start with contact. I clicked on it, loading a little slowly for some reason. Here we go. And what do I see when I do contact? Contact us. Apparently I can dial by phone. I can send them an email using this little message thing over here in the right sidebar. There's information here about how to contact. You can also click to email. There's the phone number again. There's a disclaimer, and then there's a map with their office location. Basic page, not much to it. Let's click on the blog button and see what happens. The blog pops right up. The first thing that I notice is that the last article was written August 21st. I'm doing this review on October 10, so September, October. It's been almost 2 months since a post has gone up. I look at that and I wonder, gosh, I wonder if these folks are still in business. Sliding down the page here, nice pictures of the different attorneys, categories, archives. It's nice that there's stuff going back all the way to September '09, but there's months here where they don't post anything. The last post before the one we're looking at is back on August, so this is not really a blog that keeps up. And that, I think, is a little distracting. If they're going to do the blog, which I think is terrific, I think they ought to take the dates off of the posts. Just get rid of the dates. That would be easy to do. And then we don't know that they're not keeping it current. So it's less of a distraction. Okay, let's click on the About button, which is basically, I assume, going to be sort of the same as the home page, because the home page was nothing but about. Generic copy here. We're a legal team with over 400 family law cases, blah, blah, blah. We lead every client through the following process. We pride ourselves on working with clients from all backgrounds, lifestyles, income levels. We get your results. Bottom line is it says nothing. I mean, it couldn't be more bland. It's almost like it came out of the template for building a law firm website. Click here and you've got a sample. I mean, there's just nothing unique about this firm, and I suspect there are things that could be said about this firm. Okay, let's take a look at the attorneys page. Thankfully, there's a picture here of the people. We've got this Eric Newton, who is one of the two named partners. I assume the other one is Heath. Yes, there's Terrence Heath. I will tell you that just skimming the copy here, there's nothing interesting about these guys from what I've seen. He went to law school. He was on the editor-in-chief of the law journal, some kind of law journal. He's practiced law with a diverse experience. Terrence Heath, same kind of bio. Now this one, at least a little sentence or two here. He worked in the Peace Corps in Romania. That's interesting. And he's in the Rotary Club. And I will say, I personally like this Terrence Heath picture better than the picture on Newton, just because he looks, I mean, this I swear, it looks like this picture is something that would have come with the frame. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. It's a great picture of him, I'm sure, but it's so generic looking. This Heath picture, I think, is got a little bit more personality. That's nice. But none of these bios give you any sense of the people involved. What do they care about in their lives? What are they passionate about? Do they have a dog? I mean, just anything. There's nothing here. What kind of clients do they like working with? Just anything. This guy, the last one, is an of counsel. There's no picture. It's a little weird that we got pictures of the other people and no picture of this one. Maybe they're working on it. We slide on down here to this guy. We're back to the professional picture, and a little more information about him. But the bios are really dull, and it would be nice if they said something. So far, this site says nothing interesting. It does not give me a reason to care about these people. I mean, I really feel like I'm looking at a template for a lawyer website where they forgot to fill in the details. Finally, in our little backwards to forwards review of the pages, we'll take a look at practice areas. There's a little paragraph here about we have the experience and resources, blah, blah, blah. Again, straight out of the website form book. They list things that they do. It looks like these are hyperlinks. I'm going to, just for fun, click on the divorce one. And it gives us a few paragraphs here, which are nice, answers to some FAQs. I really wish they had featured this a little bit more prominently on the home page, because here's some information that could actually help a prospective client to learn a little bit more about them. They've got one of these boring testimonials where they don't have the name of the person. It's this generic, like you feel like, oh, I could have made this up. It's not really a real person. There's no picture of the person. It would be great if they had a video instead of these anonymous kind of quotes. That would make a big difference. Anyway, that gives you kind of a quick look at the site. It does not have things like a privacy policy on it. It's got a disclaimer. Maybe there's a privacy policy stuck in there. Some people care about that, some don't. The disclaimer really says very little. It does not have links to resources. That would be nice. There's no real law firm logo. I'm going to go back to the home page. It's very generic. I mean, maybe this is what they use as their logo, sort of the whole thing spread out as the masthead, but it's really sort of feels very generic. But, all in all, I mean, it's this very simple, kind of boring site. I mean, in a way, it kind of fills the role of making sure they have a website, but it doesn't do anything at all to make me want to meet these people and go in and see them. It's like, give me some video, give me some information, in that bio section. Let me, if it's going to be about you, and I'm not a big fan of it being about you, but if it's going to be about you, Heath Newton, LLP, at least let me get a feel for who you are and what you stand for and what you love and what you hate. Give us some personality. This site is just desperately lacking in personality. And I think you could do so much more with it. So those are my thoughts on it, and hopefully those of you watching this can use the ideas that we're getting from looking at Heath Newton and apply them to your site to make it better and better. I'm Lee Rosen for Divorce Discourse. We will talk again next time.